Dad, obey my husband or pack your bags. That's what my daughter Rachel told me last Tuesday night, standing in the doorway while her husband Tyler smirked behind her. What neither of them knew was that I wasn't just some old man living off their charity. I was the invisible foundation holding up their entire $520,000 construction empire. Every municipal contract, every EPA certification, every client relationship they thought belonged to them. I looked at Tyler's confident face and made my decision. You're absolutely right, Rachel. I should pack my bags. But I wasn't just packing my clothes. I was packing 40 years of engineering credentials, client relationships, and professional licenses that Tyler had no idea he needed to stay in business. By Friday, Tyler would learn the difference between owning a company and actually running one. This story changed everything for our family, and it might change how you think about respect and boundaries too. Hit subscribe if you want to see how this ends, and drop a comment, letting me know where you're watching from. Here's exactly what happened when I decided to take my foundation with me. It started 18 months ago when my daughter Rachel called me crying. Her husband Tyler had big dreams for Carter and Associates Construction, but their bank account was looking pretty thin. They needed help. I'd been retired for 3 years since my wife passed, and honestly, I was desperate to stay useful. So I offered to help them land some municipal contracts. Use my connections from 4 decades in Texas civil engineering. Tyler was all smiles then. Ben, you're exactly what this company needs, he said, shaking my hand like we were old partners. But respect has a funny way of evaporating once people think they don't need you anymore. The first sign came 6 months in. Tyler had improved my bridge design for the Austin Municipal Project. He'd removed 3 support calculations and simplified the drainage system. Ben, we need to modernize, he told me in front of 2 employees. Your old school methods are slowing us down. I looked at his changes. They violated Texas Department of Transportation standards in 4 different ways. Tyler, this won't pass inspection, I said quietly. He laughed. Trust me, Ben, I've got a business degree. You've just got experience. The second sign came during client calls. Whenever Samuel Peterson from Austin Public Works called, Tyler would grab the phone first. Peterson, my man, Tyler Carter, here, he'd say, waving me away like I was interrupting. But Peterson always asked the same question. Is Ben Andrews available? Tyler would pause. Well, he's busy, but I can handle whatever you need. I'll call back when Ben's free, Peterson would say, and hang up. This happened 7 times in 2 months. Tyler's face got redder each time. Why does he keep asking for you? Tyler demanded after the 7th call. Maybe he likes my voice, I said. But I knew why Peterson called for me. I'd been designing municipal infrastructure for Austin since 1987. Peterson had been in middle school when I built his neighborhood's first storm drain system. The 3rd sign was the worst. Tyler started introducing me differently at job sites. First, I was my father-in-law, the engineer. Then I became Ben, our consultant. By October, I was just Ben, one of our helpers. Last week, a new client asked who designed the drainage system for the Riverside project. Tyler pointed at himself. I handle all our engineering, he said. I'd spent 60 hours on those calculations. My signature was on every page of the official filing. The client looked confused. But the permit application says Benjamin Andrews, PE license TX1FD8632. Tyler's face went pale. Ben helped with some paperwork, he said quickly. That night, Rachel pulled me aside. Dad, Tyler's been under a lot of stress lately. I can see that, I said. Maybe you could, let him take the lead more often? I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. She had her mother's eyes, but right now they were avoiding mine. Rachel, who do you think has been answering Samuel Peterson's calls? Tyler says he handles all the city contacts. And who do you think signed the insurance papers that let you bid on municipal projects? She was quiet for a long moment. I assumed Tyler handled that. That's when I realized Tyler hadn't just been taking credit for my work. He'd been rewriting our entire history. But history, especially in engineering, leaves a paper trail. And every piece of paper in that trail had my name on it, not his. Tyler was about to learn that foundation isn't just a construction term, it's a business principle. The next morning, I sat in my small apartment above Carter and Associates and made a list. Not a revenge list, an inventory list. What did I actually control in this company? First item, my Texas Professional Engineer License, TX1F8632, required by law for any construction project over $50,000 involving public infrastructure. Second item, the municipal client relationships I'd built over 25 years. Every major Austin contractor knew my work from the 1990s drainage expansion. Third item, EPA certifications for environmental compliance. I'd renewed them personally every 2 years since 1985. Fourth item, the professional liability insurance that covered all our municipal contracts. It was in my name because Tyler couldn't qualify for the coverage limits we needed. Without these four things, Carter and Associates wasn't a construction company. It was Tyler Carter playing dress-up in my professional reputation. But if I pulled these supports, what would happen to Rachel? I called my old friend Gregory Matthews at the Texas State Board of Professional Engineers. Greg, hypothetical question, I said. If a PE license holder withdraws from a company, what happens to their ongoing contracts? Ben, that's not hypothetical, that's nuclear, Greg said. All contracts requiring that license become void within 30 days. The company loses bonding capacity, insurance coverage, and municipal bidding rights. How long to transfer a license to a new company? If the paperwork's in order, about a week. I thanked Greg and hung up. Then I opened my locked filing cabinet and reviewed our current obligations. The Austin Bridge Project, $520,000 contract, my PE license required, due March 15th. The Municipal Drainage System, $315,000 contract, my EPA certifications required, due April 30th. The Public Works Compliance Audit, $180,000 contract, my professional liability insurance required, due February 28th. Total $15,000 in active contracts that existed because of my credentials, not Tyler's charm. But there was more. I kept reading. Tyler had personally guaranteed completion of all 3 projects to secure favorable payment terms. If the contracts failed, he'd be liable for penalties equal to 20% of each contract value. That meant Tyler was on the hook for over $200,000 in penalties if these projects collapsed. I sat back in my chair. Tyler didn't just need me. Tyler's entire financial future depended on me, and he had no idea. That afternoon, Rachel stopped by my apartment. Dad, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest. Always am, sweetheart. Tyler says you've been undermining him with clients, calling them behind his back, making him look bad. I studied my daughter's face. Rachel, when did Samuel Peterson last return Tyler's calls? What do you mean? Peterson called 16 times in the last 2 months. How many times did he ask to speak with Tyler? Rachel was quiet. 0, I said. Peterson asks for me every single time. Want to know why? Dad, please don't make this harder than it is. Harder than what is, Rachel? She took a deep breath. Tyler wants you out of the company, completely out. He'll buy out your consultation fee, but he wants to run Carter and Associates without interference. What consultation fee? The monthly payment we've been giving you. I almost laughed. Rachel, I've never taken a consultation fee. I've been working for free. Her face went white. But Tyler said what? He said you were costing the company too much money, that we'd be more profitable without you. Now I understood. Tyler wasn't just stealing credit for my work. He was convincing Rachel that I was the problem. Rachel, do you know whose name is on the business insurance? Tyler's, I assume. Mine. Do you know whose PE license covers your municipal contracts? Tyler has a construction management degree. That's not the same as a professional engineer license. Do you know who Samuel Peterson calls when there's a technical problem? Rachel sat down heavily. Oh my God. Dad, what are you saying? I'm saying Tyler's been building his empire on my foundation, and now he wants to kick away the foundation and keep the empire. But that would be impossible. Yes, I said quietly. It would be. That evening, Tyler made his ultimatum: pack my bags or follow his rules. I chose option 3, pack my bags and take my foundation with me. Thursday morning started with Tyler calling a company meeting in the main office. All 12 employees gathered around the conference table Tyler had bought, with profits from my municipal contracts. Team, I want to address some rumors about changes in our leadership structure, Tyler announced. I sat in the back corner, notebook in hand. Some of you might have noticed that Ben has been transitioning out of day-to-day operations. Transitioning out. That's what he called it. Going forward, all client communication will go through me directly. All project decisions will be made by me. All technical questions will be handled by me. Janet Morrison, our project coordinator, raised her hand. What about the Peterson calls? He specifically asks for Ben. Tyler's jaw tightened. Janet, I've been managing the Peterson relationship for months. Ben's role has been advisory. Advisory. Now I was just an advisor on projects I'd designed from scratch. Any other questions? Tyler asked. The room was silent. Great. Ben, could you stay behind for a minute? Everyone filed out. Rachel lingered by the door, but Tyler waved her away. Sit down, Ben. I stayed standing. I said sit down. I heard you, I said. Tyler walked over to his desk and picked up a folder. Ben, I've been patient with you, really patient, but this company needs to move forward, and frankly, your old school methods are holding us back. Which methods specifically? The excessive documentation, the overcomplicated designs, the unnecessary client hand-holding. You mean following Texas Department of Transportation standards? I mean treating every project like it's the most important thing in the world. It is the most important thing in the world. To the people using that bridge, it's the most important thing. Tyler slammed the folder down. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This perfectionist attitude that makes every deadline a crisis and every client meeting a therapy session. The office door opened. Samuel Peterson walked in. Morning, Tyler. Ben? He nodded to both of us. Hope I'm not interrupting anything important. Tyler straightened his tie. Not at all, Sam. What can I do for you? Peterson looked around the room. Actually, I was hoping to speak with Ben. We've got some technical questions about the bridge support calculations. I can handle any technical questions, Tyler said quickly. Peterson smiled politely. I'm sure you can, Tyler, but these are pretty specific engineering concerns, and I need to speak with the licensed professional engineer on the project. The room went dead quiet. Tyler's face was turning red. Ben consults for me on technical matters, but I'm the project manager. All communication should go through me first. Tyler, Peterson said gently, Ben's not consulting for you. According to our records, Ben is the primary engineer. His PE license covers this entire project. That's a paperwork issue. Peterson pulled out his phone and scrolled through some emails. Ben, I've got 3 messages from the state inspector about EPA compliance documentation. Can you call him back today? Of course, I said. Wait, Tyler stepped forward. Why is the state inspector calling Ben directly? Peterson looked genuinely confused. Because Ben holds the environmental certifications for the project. Tyler, don't you have copies of all the licensing documentation? Tyler was opening and closing his mouth like a fish. I'll get those compliance docs to the inspector this afternoon, I told Peterson. Perfect. And Ben, the mayor wanted to thank you personally for the riverside drainage design. Saved the city about $200,000 in flood damage last month. Tyler found his voice. Ben worked on that project, but I supervised the overall design strategy. Peterson looked at Tyler for a long moment. Then he looked at me. Ben, didn't you design the riverside system back in 1998? 1999, I said, but close enough. Right, before Tyler's company existed. The air in the room felt thick. Peterson checked his watch. Well, I'll let you gentlemen get back to work. Ben, expect a call from the inspector around 2 o'clock. After Peterson left, Tyler stared at me for 30 seconds. You've been going behind my back, he said finally. No, Tyler, I've been doing my job. Your job is what I say it is. Actually, my job is whatever my professional engineer license says it is. And that license says I'm responsible for the safety and compliance of every project I sign. Well, maybe it's time you stopped signing things. I looked at him. Really looked at him. Tyler Carter, 35 years old, business degree from UT, never built anything more complicated than his own ego. Okay, I said. Okay, what? Okay, I'll stop signing things. Tyler smiled. Good, I'm glad we understand each other. We do, I said. Perfectly. But Tyler didn't understand anything. He thought he'd just won a power struggle. He'd actually just killed his company. That afternoon, while Tyler was out meeting with a potential client, I quietly walked through the office gathering my personal files. Not company files, my personal files. First stop, the locked filing cabinet in Tyler's office. He didn't know I had a key because I had installed the cabinet when we first set up the company. Inside were documents Tyler had never bothered to read carefully. My original professional engineer license certificate from 1983. The renewal documentation I'd filed every 2 years for 4 decades. My EPA certifications for environmental compliance, updated every 24 months since 1985. The professional liability insurance policy that covered all our municipal contracts. Policy holder, Benjamin Andrews. Coverage limit, $2.1 million per incident. The business bonding agreement that allowed Carter and Associates to bid on municipal projects. Bonding qualification, Benjamin Andrews, PE license TX18632. I photographed each document with my phone. Then I put them in my leather portfolio. Next stop, my desk in the back corner. I'd been working at this desk for 18 months, but it had belonged to me for 30 years. I'd bought it in 1994 from my old consulting office and brought it here when Tyler needed furniture. In the bottom drawer, behind some old technical manuals, was my Rolodex from 1987. Every municipal contact I'd built over 25 years. Every project manager, every safety inspector, every EPA compliance officer in Central Texas. Tyler thought he had these relationships. He was wrong. Tyler had met these people at parties and job sites. I had built these relationships one successful project at a time. I flipped through the cards. Samuel Peterson, Austin Public Works, hired 2003. Gregory Matthews, State Engineering Board, certified 1991. Maria Santos, EPA Regional Office, 20-year working relationship. Every card represented a project completed on time, under budget, and above code. Tyler's charm might get him in the door, but my reputation kept him in the room. I put the Rolodex in my briefcase. Around 4 o'clock, my phone rang. Texas State Board of Professional Engineers. Ben Andrews speaking. Mr. Andrews, this is Jennifer Walsh from the Licensing Verification Department. We've received a request to verify your PE license for a municipal project. Which project? The Austin Bridge contract. Requesting party is Samuel Peterson, Austin Public Works. Interesting. Peterson was double-checking my credentials. Mr. Andrews, our records show your license is current and in good standing. However, we also show you're listed as the primary engineer for Carter and Associates Construction. That's correct? We've received some informal questions about whether that's still accurate. Can you confirm your current professional status? My heart started beating faster. Someone had been asking questions about my involvement with Carter and Associates. Can you tell me who made these informal inquiries? I can't provide specifics, but someone wanted to know if you were still actively practicing or if you'd transferred your licensing authority to another engineer. Tyler. Tyler had been calling around trying to figure out how to remove me from the contracts without removing my license. Ms. Walsh, my license is active and I remain the primary engineer for all current Carter and Associates municipal projects. Understood, Mr. Andrews. For our records, if your status changes, you'll need to notify us within 5 business days. Of course. After I hung up, I sat staring at my phone for 10 minutes. Tyler wasn't just pushing me out. He was researching how to push me out legally, which meant he'd been planning this ultimatum for weeks. I opened my laptop and started typing an email to Gregory Matthews. Greg, need some advice about license transfer procedures. Completely hypothetical situation. By 5 o'clock, I had my answer, and I had a plan. Tyler wanted to play chess with someone who'd been building foundations since before Tyler learned to walk. Game on. Friday evening, the annual Carter and Associates Christmas party at Austin Country Club. Tyler had been planning this event for months. It's all about showing our clients that we're successful, he'd told Rachel. Perception is everything in construction. The guest list read like Austin's municipal directory: Samuel Peterson from Public Works, Maria Santos from the EPA Regional Office, 3 city council members, the mayor's chief of staff, plus all our employees, their families, and Tyler's business contacts. About 150 people gathered to celebrate Carter and Associates' most successful year ever. I almost didn't go, but Rachel had asked me personally, "Dad, please, it's important to Tyler, and Tyler's important to me." So I put on my best suit and drove to the country club. The party was in full swing when I arrived. Tyler had rented the main ballroom, complete with a bar, catered dinner, and a small stage for presentations. I found a quiet table in the back and ordered a club soda. "Ben," Samuel Peterson appeared with a plate of appetizers. "Glad you made it. Great turnout." "Tyler knows how to throw a party," I said. "He sure does. And speaking of Tyler, I wanted to thank you again for recommending him when he started the company." I paused mid-sip. "I'm sorry, what?" "When Tyler first approached our office about municipal contracts, he mentioned you'd given him your endorsement, said you'd trained him personally on Texas infrastructure standards." I set down my drink slowly. Tyler had told Peterson that I'd trained him. "That's not exactly how it happened, Sam." But Peterson looked confused. "Really? Because Tyler speaks very highly of your mentorship, says everything he knows about municipal engineering came from working with you. Everything he knows. Not working for me, working with me." "Ben, you okay? You look a little pale." "I'm fine, Sam. Just processing some information." Before Peterson could respond, Tyler's voice boomed from the microphone on stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please." The room quieted down. "Thank you all for being here tonight. This has been an incredible year for Carter and Associates, and we couldn't have done it without the support of Austin's finest municipal leaders." Polite applause. "I want to specifically recognize some of our major accomplishments. The Austin Bridge Project, which will serve our community for decades to come." More applause. "I designed that bridge in 60 hours of detailed structural calculations. The Riverside Drainage System, which saved Austin taxpayers over $200,000 in flood prevention costs." Louder applause. "I designed that system in 1999, 13 years before Tyler moved to Austin. And the ongoing municipal compliance audit, which has set new standards for environmental responsibility in Texas construction." Standing ovation. I'd written the compliance protocols Tyler was taking credit for. Peterson leaned over to me. "Ben, this is impressive work. Tyler's really grown into the role." "The role?" "As Austin's go-to municipal engineer, I mean, when he first started, he seemed pretty green, but these projects show real expertise." Tyler continued his speech. "None of this would have been possible without my incredible team. Our project coordinator, Janet Morrison, our office manager, Susan Chen, our safety inspector, Michael Rodriguez." He was listing every employee except me. "And of course my wife Rachel, who keeps our business running smoothly while I focus on the technical challenges of modern infrastructure development." I felt something cold spreading through my chest. "Now I know some of you have been asking about the technical details of our major projects. As the licensed professional engineer for Carter and Associates, I want to assure you that every design meets or exceeds Texas Department of Transportation standards." The licensed professional engineer. Tyler had just claimed my PE license in front of 150 people. I looked around the room. Peterson was nodding approvingly. The city council members were taking notes. The mayor's chief of staff was filming with her phone. In particular, I want to highlight the innovative approach we took with the Austin Bridge Project. Instead of the traditional support structure, I designed a streamlined system that reduced materials costs by 15% while improving load capacity. My system, my calculations, My innovations from 40 years of bridge engineering. Tyler held up a large display board showing technical drawings. My technical drawings, with my signature in the bottom right corner. But Tyler positioned the board so his body blocked the signature area. As you can see from these original design sketches, the mathematical precision required for this type of infrastructure demands years of specialized training and experience. Years of specialized training, like the 40 years I'd spent earning my reputation. I'm proud to say that Carter & Associates represents the new generation of Texas engineering. We combine traditional values with modern innovation to deliver results that serve our communities for generations. The new generation. I was suddenly the old generation that needed to be replaced. The applause was thunderous. Samuel Peterson stood up. Tyler, this is impressive work. I have to ask, where did you develop this level of expertise? Tyler smiled. Well, Sam, I've been fortunate to learn from some excellent engineers over the years. And of course, my business degree from UT gave me the project management skills to coordinate these complex municipal relationships. But the technical engineering knowledge, that's pretty specialized stuff. Absolutely. I've always believed in continuous learning. In fact, I just completed an advanced certification course in municipal infrastructure design. An advanced certification course. Tyler had taken a weekend seminar on project management software. Peterson nodded. Well, whatever your training method, the results speak for themselves. The mayor specifically mentioned your work on flood prevention. He said you'd save the city millions in potential damage. Tyler's chest puffed up. That's very gratifying to hear, Sam. It's exactly the kind of impact we want to have on Austin's future. I stood up. Every eye in the room turned toward me. Tyler, I said, my voice carrying clearly across the ballroom, could you explain the load calculations for the bridge's center support? Tyler froze mid-smile. Ben, this isn't really the time for technical discussions. I think it is, said Peterson. Ben, do you have some concerns about the engineering? Just curious about Tyler's methodology, specifically how he calculated the compression ratios for the steel reinforcement. Tyler's face went pale. Ben, we can discuss technical details later. The compression ratios, Tyler, in front of everyone who's going to trust their lives to that bridge. Silence. Tyler? Peterson prompted. Tyler looked around the room like a trapped animal. The ratios were calculated using standard industry formulas. Which formulas? Ben, I don't think our guests want to hear about mathematical formulas. Samuel Peterson stepped forward. Actually, Tyler, I'd like to hear your answer. These are important safety considerations. Tyler stared at me across the crowded ballroom. I stared back. He had no idea what formula I was talking about, because Tyler Carter had never calculated a compression ratio in his life. The silence stretched for 10 seconds. Tyler opened his mouth twice without speaking. Then Samuel Peterson's phone rang. Excuse me, Tyler, I should take this. Peterson stepped aside. Hello? Yes, this is Samuel Peterson. His voice carried across the quiet ballroom. What? No, that can't be right. Let me check my records. Peterson was scrolling through his phone, frowning. Ma'am, I'm going to need to call you back. I'm at a work function, and I need to verify some information. He hung up and looked around the room. Tyler, Ben, I'm sorry to interrupt the party, but I just received a very strange call from the Texas State Board of Professional Engineers. Tyler's face went from pale to gray. They're conducting a routine license verification audit for all our active municipal projects. Apparently, someone has raised questions about the professional engineering credentials for Carter & Associates. I felt the room's attention shift like a tide. Questions about what? Tyler managed. Questions about which engineer holds the primary professional engineer license for your company's municipal contracts. Peterson pulled out a folder from his briefcase. I brought our project files tonight because I wanted to double-check some details for next week's progress meeting. He opened the folder and started reading. Austin Bridge Project, contract number M1 2024-0892. Primary engineer, Benjamin Andrews, PE license TX158632. Every eye in the room turned to me. Municipal drainage system, contract number MUN 2024-056. Primary engineer, Benjamin Andrews, PE license TX158632. Tyler tried to speak. Sam, there might be some confusion about the paperwork. Peterson kept reading. Public Works Compliance Audit. Contract number MUN 2024-0203. Primary Engineer, Benjamin Andrews. PE license TX158632. He looked up from the folder. Ben, according to our official records, you're the licensed professional engineer for every municipal project Carter and Associates has completed in the last 18 months. The room was dead silent. Tyler, Peterson continued, I don't see your PE license number on any of these contracts. I work under Ben's supervision, Tyler said quietly. Actually, Tyler, that's not what our records show either. Our records show Ben Andrews as the independent contractor providing professional engineering services to Carter and Associates. Independent contractor, not employee, not supervised engineer, independent contractor. Peterson flipped to another page. In fact, our insurance requirements mandate that Benjamin Andrews personally guarantee all work performed on municipal projects because Carter and Associates doesn't have independent professional engineer certification. The mayor's chief of staff stepped forward. Excuse me, but I'm recording this for our municipal compliance audit. Can you clarify what this means for the city's contracts? Peterson looked at me, then at Tyler, then back at his folder. It means Benjamin Andrews is legally responsible for the safety and compliance of every bridge, drainage system, and infrastructure project we've approved for Carter and Associates in the past 2 years. Tyler's business partners were whispering among themselves. Sam, I think there's been a misunderstanding about my role in the company, Tyler said desperately. What kind of misunderstanding? Ben provides consultation, but I manage the overall project development and client relationships. Peterson nodded slowly. Tyler, that may be your internal business arrangement, but from the city's perspective, Benjamin Andrews is your company. Without his license, Carter and Associates can't bid on municipal projects. Without his certifications, you can't perform environmental compliance work. Without his professional liability insurance, you can't guarantee project safety. Maria Santos from the EPA stepped forward. Excuse me, I'm Maria Santos, EPA Regional Office. Are you saying that Mr. Andrews is the certified professional for all environmental compliance work? That's correct, Peterson said, because I've been working with Mr. Andrews on EPA certification since 1987. I was under the impression that he was the principal engineer for Carter and Associates. Principal engineer, not consultant. Principal engineer. Tyler was looking around the room like a man watching his house burn down. Maria, Ben is very involved in our environmental compliance, he said weakly. Involved how? Maria asked. He provides technical expertise. Mr. Carter, I've reviewed every EPA filing for Carter and Associates. Benjamin Andrews' certification number is on every document. His signature is on every compliance report. His professional liability insurance covers every environmental assessment. She pulled out her own folder. In fact, according to our records, Carter and Associates doesn't exist as far as EPA certification is concerned. The entity we work with is Benjamin Andrews, doing business as Carter and Associates Construction. Doing business as Carter and Associates Construction. I wasn't an employee of Tyler's company. According to the EPA, I was the company. The city council members were taking notes furiously. Tyler made one last desperate attempt. Everyone, I think we're getting lost in bureaucratic technicalities. The important thing is that Carter and Associates delivers excellent work for Austin, regardless of how the paperwork is structured. Samuel Peterson closed his folder. Tyler, the paperwork isn't a technicality. The paperwork is the law. Municipal contracts require licensed professional engineers. EPA compliance requires certified environmental specialists. Professional liability insurance requires qualified policyholders. He looked at me. Ben, I have to ask directly. What is your official relationship with Carter and Associates? I stood up. 150 people were looking at me. Samuel, I've been providing professional engineering services to Carter and Associates under contract since March 2023. My PE license covers all municipal projects. My EPA certifications cover all environmental work. My professional liability insurance covers all safety guarantees. And if you were to discontinue your relationship with Carter and Associates, All municipal contracts would become void within 30 days. All EPA certifications would be invalid. All professional liability coverage would terminate. Tyler's face was the color of concrete. Ben, Peterson said carefully, are you planning to discontinue your relationship with Carter and Associates? I looked at Tyler, then at Rachel, who was standing by the bar with tears in her eyes. Samuel, as of Monday morning, I'll be establishing my own engineering practice. Andrews Municipal Engineering. I'll be happy to continue working on all current municipal projects under my new company structure. The room erupted in whispers. What does that mean for Carter and Associates? Someone called out. I looked directly at Tyler. That depends on whether Carter and Associates wants to subcontract through Andrews Municipal Engineering or try to find another licensed professional engineer willing to take responsibility for 18 months of work they didn't perform. Tyler was staring at me like I'd just spoken in ancient Greek. Ben, he said slowly, you can't just leave. We have contracts, obligations. Yes, Tyler, we do have contracts, and every single one of them is in my name. I picked up my coat from the back of my chair. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for a lovely evening. Samuel, Maria, I'll call you both Monday morning to discuss transition procedures. As I walked toward the door, Samuel Peterson called out, Ben, for what it's worth, you've been the most reliable engineer we've worked with in 25 years. I turned back to the room. Tyler was standing alone on the stage, still holding the microphone, surrounded by the wreckage of his stolen reputation. Thank you, Sam. That means more than you know. Monday morning, 8 a.m. sharp, I walked into the Carter and Associates office carrying a briefcase and a folder of legal documents. Tyler was already at his desk on the phone. No, Mr. Peterson, I'm sure we can work something out. Yes, I understand the timeline. Can you give me until this afternoon? He hung up and looked at me. Ben, we need to talk. Yes, we do. I sat down across from his desk and opened my briefcase. Tyler, I have some paperwork that needs your attention. I pulled out the first document. This is my formal notice of license withdrawal from Carter and Associates Construction. Effective immediately, PE license TX1F8632 is no longer associated with your company. Tyler stared at the document. Ben, you can't do this. We have deadlines, obligations. Yes, we do, which brings me to document number 2. I placed a second paper on his desk. This is notice of EPA certification withdrawal. Carter and Associates no longer has authority to perform environmental compliance work on municipal projects. Ben, please, let's talk about this like reasonable people. I am being reasonable, Tyler. Document number 3. Another paper. Notice of professional liability insurance cancellation. Your municipal contracts are no longer covered under my policy. Tyler's hands were shaking as he picked up each document. This will destroy the company. No, Tyler, this will reveal what the company actually was. I pulled out document number 4. This is the business registration for Andrews Municipal Engineering, LLC, filed this morning with the Texas Secretary of State. You're starting a competing company? I'm not competing, Tyler. I'm continuing the work I've been doing for 40 years. My phone rang. Samuel Peterson. Good morning, Sam. Tyler could hear both sides of the conversation. Ben, I got your message this morning. Are you really withdrawing from Carter and Associates? Yes, Sam, but I want to assure you that all current municipal projects will continue on schedule through my new company. What about the contracts? They're all written with Carter and Associates. The contracts are written with Benjamin Andrews, PE, providing services through Carter and Associates. I can transfer those services to Andrews Municipal Engineering with a simple contract amendment. And Tyler's company? I looked at Tyler, who was listening to every word. Tyler will need to decide whether Carter and Associates wants to subcontract through Andrews Municipal Engineering or find another licensed professional engineer to take over the work. Ben, finding another PE to take over mid-project isn't realistic. The liability issues alone would scare off most engineers. I understand that, Sam. What are you proposing? 2 options. Option 1, Carter and Associates becomes a subcontractor for Andrews Municipal Engineering. Tyler handles project management and client relations. I handle all technical engineering and regulatory compliance. Tyler was nodding frantically. Option 2. I complete all current municipal projects under my new company name. Carter and Associates and Tyler Carter are released from all obligations and all liability. Tyler stopped nodding. What would Tyler prefer? Peterson asked. I looked at Tyler. What would you prefer, Tyler? Tyler's mouth opened and closed several times. I need Andrews Municipal Engineering to take over the contracts. You're sure about that? Yes. Sam, did you hear that? I heard it, Ben. Tyler, are you formally requesting that Andrews Municipal Engineering assume all current Carter and Associates municipal contracts? Yes, Tyler said quietly. I'll need that in writing, Peterson said. Today. After I hung up, Tyler slumped in his chair. Ben, what happens to Carter and Associates? That's up to you, Tyler. You can build a company based on your own qualifications and your own relationships. Or you can subcontract through me and follow my professional standards. What are your professional standards? I stood up to leave. Respect, honesty, and credit where credit is due. Ben, wait! I turned back. I'm sorry, Tyler said. I'm sorry for taking credit for your work. I'm sorry for treating you like an employee instead of a partner. I'm sorry for the ultimatum. Thank you, Tyler. Is there a way to work together under your new company structure? I studied his face. For the first time in months, Tyler Carter looked genuinely humble. Tyler, I'm willing to consider a partnership, but it would be a real partnership. Shared decisions, shared credit, shared responsibility. What would that look like? It would look like you handling business development and client relations, me handling technical engineering and regulatory compliance, both of us signing contracts, both of us taking credit for our actual contributions. Tyler nodded slowly. And Rachel? Rachel can choose whether she wants to work with Andrews Municipal Engineering or stay with Carter and Associates. Either way, she's always welcome. Ben, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest. Always am. Why didn't you just leave 18 months ago? Why did you stay and help build something that I was going to take away from you? I thought about that for a moment. Because, Tyler, you're married to my daughter, and my daughter deserves a husband who builds things instead of taking them. I was hoping I could teach you the difference. Tyler was quiet for a long time. Did you teach me the difference? That remains to be seen. By Wednesday morning, the phone calls started coming. First call, Maria Santos from the EPA. Ben, we've received Carter and Associates' formal request to transfer all environmental certifications to Andrews Municipal Engineering. Do you want to accept responsibility for their current compliance obligations? Yes, Maria, with one condition. All future environmental filings will list the actual engineer who performed the work. Understood. That's actually more accurate than our current system. A second call, Gregory Matthews from the Texas State Board. Ben, we've gotten 3 inquiries about professional engineer availability for municipal projects in Austin. Word is getting around that you're independent again. Good word or bad word? Good word. Very good word. Everyone remembers your work from the 1990s. They want to know if you're taking new clients. Third call, the most important one. Dad? Hi, sweetheart. Rachel's voice was shaky. Dad, I owe you an apology. A big one. You don't owe me anything, Rachel. Yes, I do. I let Tyler convince me that you were the problem. I watched him take credit for your work and didn't say anything. I chose my husband over my father when I should have chosen honesty over comfort. I sat down in my new office, a small space above the hardware store downtown, but it was mine. Rachel, Tyler is your husband. You're supposed to support him. Supporting him didn't require betraying you. What's done is done, sweetheart. Is it? Because Tyler's been calling everyone we know, trying to find another licensed engineer willing to take over his remaining contracts. Any luck? Dad, no one wants to take responsibility for 18 months of work they didn't design. The liability is too scary. That makes sense. So Tyler's looking at canceling every project and paying penalty fees. I did the math in my head. 20% of each contract value plus legal fees plus reputation damage. How much are the penalties? Over $200,000. Tyler didn't have $200,000. Tyler barely had $25,000. Dad, Tyler wants to talk to you about the partnership you mentioned. What kind of partnership? A real one. 50-50 ownership, shared decision-making, your name on the company letterhead. Andrews and Carter Municipal Engineering? If you'll have him. I looked around my small office. It was quiet. Professional, mine, but it was also lonely. Rachel, what do you want? I want to work for a company that I can be proud of. A company that builds things honestly and treats people with respect. And Tyler? Tyler wants a second chance to do things right. That afternoon, Tyler showed up at my office carrying 2 cups of coffee and a folder of financial documents. Ben, I want to show you something. He opened the folder. This is Carter and Associates' balance sheet. Our debts, our assets, our obligations. I looked at the numbers. It was worse than I'd thought. Tyler, you're insolvent. I know. Without your contracts, I can't pay my equipment loans. Without EPA certification, I can't bid on new work. Without professional liability insurance, I can't guarantee existing projects. So what are you proposing? Merge Carter and Associates into Andrews Municipal Engineering. You get a construction crew, office equipment, and established vendor relationships. I get professional legitimacy and a chance to learn the business properly. What's my guarantee that you won't try to push me out again in 2 years? Tyler reached into his briefcase and pulled out another document. This is a partnership agreement I had my attorney draft. 50-50 ownership, equal decision-making authority. Both names on every contract. Disputes resolved by binding arbitration. I read through the agreement. It was fair, more than fair. Tyler, why are you willing to give up control? Because I never actually had control. I just had the illusion of control. He paused. Ben, I spent 18 months taking credit for your reputation. And in 48 hours, I watched that reputation walk out the door with you. Reputations aren't transferable, Tyler. No, they're not. But they can be shared if both people earn them. I set down the agreement. Tyler, if we do this, it's not just a business partnership. Your family, that makes it complicated. It also makes it important. There will be rules, my rules, about honesty, about credit, about respect. I understand. And if you ever give me an ultimatum again, you'll take your 40 years of experience and leave me with nothing? That's right. Tyler extended his hand. Partners? I shook it. Partners. That evening, Rachel stopped by the office with takeout Chinese food. So, she said, opening the containers, Andrews and Carter Municipal Engineering? Carter and Andrews, Tyler corrected, walking in behind her. Ben's name comes first. I looked at both of them. My daughter and my new business partner. My family. How about just Andrews Municipal Engineering, I said, with Tyler Carter as managing partner and Rachel Carter as operations director? Rachel smiled. That works. Foundation, I learned, isn't just about building things. Sometimes it's about rebuilding them. 6 months later, I'm sitting in our new office on South Austin Boulevard. Andrews Municipal Engineering has a staff of 8, including Tyler and Rachel. The sign outside reads, Benjamin Andrews, PE, Tyler Carter, Managing Partner. Our first joint project was completing the Austin Bridge that started this whole mess. Tyler handled client relations and project coordination. I handled technical engineering and regulatory compliance. Both our signatures are on the final approval documents. The bridge opened on schedule, under budget, above code. Samuel Peterson sent us a congratulatory letter. This is the kind of professional collaboration that makes municipal partnerships successful. Tyler framed the letter and hung it in our conference room. Last week, Tyler asked me about the compression ratio calculations for bridge supports, not to question them, to learn them. Ben, I want to understand the technical side of what we do, really understand it, not just manage it. It's going to take time, Tyler. Engineering isn't something you learn in a weekend seminar. I know, but I've got time, and I've got an excellent teacher. Rachel handles our business development now. She's good at it. Better than Tyler, actually. She listens to clients instead of just talking to them. Dad, we've got 3 new municipal bid requests, all from cities that specifically asked for Benjamin Andrews. Not Andrews Municipal Engineering? No, Dad, they asked for you, by name, because they remember your work from the 1990s. Reputation, the one thing you can't steal and the one thing you can't fake. But you can share it if you earn the right. Tyler still makes mistakes. Last month, he overpromised a completion date without checking with me first. Tyler, this timeline isn't realistic. The EPA review alone takes 6 weeks. I know, Ben, I'm sorry. I got excited about landing the contract. So what do we do? Call the client, explain the situation, offer a realistic timeline. Bimo. That's right. Tyler is learning that honesty isn't just a nice idea. It's a business strategy. Foundation matters more than facade. It always has. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you are watching from. And remember, respect isn't something you demand, it's something you build. One project at a time.